Begin this hour with the latest on that National Guard ambush we witnessed in Washington, D.C. One of the two wounded soldiers from West Virginia, you see her here, 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, died Thursday, just one day after she was shot outside a busy metro station right next to the White House. The other National Guard member, 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, is still in critical condition right now.
The suspected gunman, Rahimullah Lakinwal, is an Afghan citizen who came to the United States in 2021 after the U.S. withdrew its troops from Afghanistan. That's according to DHS officials. The attack led President Trump in a late-night post on Truth Social to threaten, quote, permanently pause migration from all third world countries and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States. We've asked the White House to clarify this. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya Gavaz is here with us. Camilo, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
So the Trump administration is ordering a review of all Biden-era approved asylum cases. It also says it will examine all green cards issued to people from certain countries. So let's talk about first what the procedures that we have in place now to vet these individuals and what could potentially change. I mean, aren't we already doing the vetting required?
Yes, that is supposed to occur. And just to level set, guys, this individual, the suspect in this case, arrived in September of 2021 and was paroled into the country. That is the legal mechanism that the Biden administration used on humanitarian grounds to admit more than 70,000 Afghans following the Taliban takeover. And they
imagine having blood on your hands from allowing somebody that was not supposed to be, imagine allowing somebody in here that might not have supposed to have been here, and that person wind up killing a National Guardsman, specifically a woman, a female. A female. You let in somebody, and that same somebody, which I'm pretty sure that Biden don't even know what the fuck is going on right now. He over here eating ice cream, taking random flights all over the country. Don't know his left from his right. I seen a video where he popped up at a restaurant and he was moving so fucking slow. I said, what is going on, bro? And to think we might have had him as the president of the United States of America, the possibility could have been. Imagine you let in somebody who was not supposed to be here, right? And that same somebody goes and kills a female National Guards person. We should have been vetting these people more effectively a long time ago.
were supposed to undergo some degree of vetting in third countries, mainly Germany, Spain, Italy, the UAE, and Qatar, in military bases there before being resettled in the U.S. But there are two major limitations when it comes to vetting. The first one is that many countries, including Afghanistan, do not share or do not have access to criminal databases, documents, and other information that the U.S. requires to properly screen and vet immigrants from those countries. So that will inherently limit some of the vetting process. Secondly, vetting is a snapshot in time, meaning that individuals can pass security checks and avoid any red flags, but subsequently can become radicalized or disturbed, as it appears happened in this case, and that will always be a possibility, guys.
And there's still a lot this just
part of the vetting process when people come over here in the United States of America, in my opinion, it never should be a one-time thing. You should have to go through, and we should reassess your engagement and then also your history and your background while you're here in America. That should be required for all people for at least 5 to 10 years while they're here, until you prove yourself worthy of being here in the United States of America from a background perspective. So let's say, for example, this quote unquote background snapshot in time allows you to get here. Well, we're going to watch you while you're here. And if any of the stereotyping proposed red flags show itself, then we got to go ahead and get you up out of here. We got to get you up out of here, baby girl.
happened Wednesday. So there's so much we don't know about who he was, how he was radicalized, and what that might how that might help prevent future incidents, right?
Correct. And it is really important to note that while this individual was allowed into the country by the Biden administration, as the president has rightly noted, he was granted asylum earlier this year under the second Trump administration, meaning that there were several opportunities for the U.S. government to actually rescreen this individual. And it is possible that no discernible red flags were raised and detected, and this individual was able to bypass that process and obviously commit this horrendous attack in New York City. And
this is so bad. This is so bad.
The suspected DC shooter, Ramanullah Zakhawal, was part of a Zero unit in Afghanistan, elite militias backed by the CIA. So let's take a closer look about what we know about these groups. First, these Zero units that were recruited by the CIA that are operating for specific elite counterterrorism units and missions come in this southern Afghanistan area, Kandahar being some of the fiercest fighting, Helmand province, Uruzgan. This is where Lochinwall is not only born and raised, but this is where he was stationed. His unit was out of the Kandahar region. Now let's talk about Lochinwall's vetting process. He did get some vetting. We had biometric screening, CIA did, biographic checks on interagency watch lists. The CIA looked to see if he had connections to any terrorist groups, and he had in-person interviews. So there was some vetting, but let's talk about his actual unit. He was assigned to NDS 03. That's a National Directorate of Security, which is Afghanistan's CIA, if you will, intelligence service. He was working for that when he was recruited and trained by the CIA to fight against the Taliban. But these units were operating outside the chain of command of U.S. and Afghan forces. That's significant. That suggests he may have seen some significant fighting and missions, because these Zero units are known for their brutality. Some called them death squads. Let's bring in now Laura Burns, head of terrorism research program on extremism at George Washington University and former FBI supervisory special agent. Laura, we're learning a lot more about Lochinwall and the fact that he's part of this Zero unit, but yet we're also looking into how he makes it across the country to carry out this ambush. What are your thoughts this morning?
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate it. Yes, this Mr. Lochinwall's pathway from Washington to D.C., it raises some interesting questions, right? Questions like, was Mr. Lochinwall already radicalized before he migrated to the United States? Did he come here with the intent to commit an act of terrorism when he found the opportunity? Or rather, did he migrate here with good intentions and for some reason become disaffected with society?
No, dog should have never been here, bro. He should have never been here. Why is he here? So basically, we just letting any and everybody come into the United States of America and do what they want to do when they want to do it. And then the results and somebody dying, a National Guards person dying, and he literally drove all the way across the country over to Washington, D.C. This is insane. This is insane. Why is this? Okay, so here's my question. If him with his background was able to be vetted and to come into the United States of America and to be able to just move around as he saw fit, if he didn't catch a red flag to say, hey man, nah, bro, you crazy, you got a dark background, you can't be here inside of the United States of America. If he don't fit the narrative and the criteria, then who fits it? Good God.
Here with good intentions, and for some reason become
wouldn't let that dude inside of my house
fail to assimilate,
to do no work,
and then self-radicalize and then decide to mobilize with a target of opportunity. I think that as the investigation proceeds, FBI Director Kash Patel has said that they are looking at this as an act of terrorism, that facts will become available and help us determine exactly what his radicalization process was.
Laura, FBI Director Kash Patel talked a little bit about Lochinwall's relationship with Afghanistan partner forces. Listen here.
There is confirmation now that the subject had a relationship in Afghanistan with partner forces. This individual is in this country for one reason and one reason alone, because of the disastrous withdrawal from the Biden administration and the failure to vet anyway, in any way, shape, or form, this individual and countless others. And this administration has taken the rightful step to stop any further allowance of people with this similar background into the country.
So, Laura, clearly Lockenwall ends up here because of his partnership with our U.S. forces, with the CIA. And it appears he did have vetting, as I just pointed out.
I think that Biden is going to go down as one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States of America, without a doubt. It can't be any different than Biden going down as one of the worst presidents of the United States of America, bro. Always and forever. One of the worst presidents of the United States of America. Biden, I'm not giving him the flag. And for my lifetime. For my lifetime, I'm not giving him the worst president in my lifetime. That still goes to George W. II. Junior. Junior, nah, bro. It's got to be Junior. It's got to be Junior. George W. and Dick Cheney. Boy, those, for me, personally, George W. and Dick Cheney is easily the worst of the worst. Easily the worst of the worst, bro. But no, Biden was not worse than Bush. Biden is not worse than Bush, bro. No way, no fucking way. Not even by a mile. No, at all, at all, at all. Mm-mm. Bush is the worst, bro. Is the worst of the worst. His father, ugh, that's just a rotten, in my opinion, that's a rotten family. I hate flying into the Bush airport. I'm like, ugh, good God. Unreal. Unreal. I just couldn't. I couldn't.